Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to another video. If you're new here, I'm Emily. I am actually so excited for this week's vlog because as you can tell by the title, I am going to be only reading books that I am predicting are going to be 5-star reads for me. Now this is kind of a bit of a scary concept because I feel like sometimes when I predict a 5-star read, it is so completely off and I sort of like have these expectations for the books in my head and then sometimes it doesn't reach those expectations. But for the books that I want to read in this video, I feel like I have a pretty solid idea of whether or not they're going to be 5-star reads or just highly rated from me in general. But hopefully I find a couple of 5-star reads in this video because I actually haven't really had many in 2025 so far. I think I've read just over 40 books and I think I've only given maybe like 4 or 5 books 5 stars, so not going that well. So hopefully, as I said, I can find a few. I wanted to go through a couple of the books that are on my radar for this video, starting off with the book that I'm actually currently reading. So this might be like cheating a little bit, but I only just started this book. Like I'm literally like 5% into it and it gave me 5-star feeling vibes straight away. And it's actually from an indie author who is Australian. I'm actually going to an event of hers very soon, so I do want to read it before that as well. And I'm reading it on my Kindle, so I don't have the physical copy, even though I will be getting one at some point this week. It is called Before We Were by Monique Medved. I hope I'm saying that correctly. This is kind of giving me the vibe of like The Summer I Turned Pretty already, and it's kind of like, I don't even know, like more mature characters. It feels like a childhood best friends to lovers. I'm actually not entirely sure what the tropes or anything of this book are, but I do really like the vibes that I got from the beginning of the book. I can't remember the girl's name because I did start it like a week ago, but we're following a girl and at the start of the book her father passes away and she is going through grief. She's going to his funeral and she's just experiencing all the feelings that happen after that and during that time and everything like that. So very emotional straight off the bat. But then I think it was maybe 1 or 2 years later that it fast forwards to, and she's going back to a town that she used to visit over the summer and there's like a family they used to stay with over there. So as I said, very much giving The Summer I Turned Pretty vibes. And yeah, that's sort of all I'm up to so far, but I'll let you guys know my thoughts as I'm reading because as I said, that is my current read. A couple of the other books that are on my radar for this week that I'm predicting might be 5 stars. I am not going to get to all these books. There is absolutely no way. It's just going to be what I kind of feel like reading and what I want to pick up. But we have The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. I think this is more along the lines of like a general fiction. I think it's about a lady. It says she's a teacher's aide, which I do relate to because I was a teacher's aide for 3 years. I did recently quit my job like a month ago, but I was doing that for a while. And it's about her wanting to adopt a former student. So very interesting. I've never read anything like this before, but I feel like books like that I've never really read anything like before are honestly some of my favorites. So I do have high expectations for this. The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. I think this is going to be my next read because I'm just so excited about this one. And this is definitely one that I want to get to in this video because I did film a vlog last week where I thought I was going to get to this and then I didn't. So I do want to get to it and read it in a video for you guys so you know all of my thoughts about this. Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bastone. I bought this one recently because I heard that it was emotional. That was the only thing I needed to hear to buy it. And I honestly don't know what this is about. I think it's just a little romance. I feel like it's definitely got more emotional aspects, but my gut's telling me it's going to be a 5-star read. The last book on my radar that I think may be 5 stars is The Favourites by Lane Fargo. Part of me wants to listen to the audiobook for this one, so I definitely need to decide if I want to do that. Apparently it's got like a full cast of audiobook narrators, which is really cool. I've never listened to one like that before, so I think that I would definitely enjoy that. So yeah, as I said, I need to decide. I think I do have an Audible credit at the moment and I could definitely listen to this during the week as I read a couple of other books. That might work really well, but I'm also kind of scared that listening to the audiobook might ruin the book for me because I feel like it's not very often I give an audiobook 5 stars, but we will see. I'll see what I decide to do. But right now I am going to continue reading Before We Were by Monique Medved and I'll keep you guys updated with my thoughts along the way. Okay, I kind of look like a mess right now. I have just been so exhausted the last couple of days for some reason. I don't even know why, but I wanted to give you guys a reading update. I think it's been a couple of days since I gave you an update. So obviously I mentioned I'm reading Before We Were by Monique Medved. I'm currently 14% through. I'm up to page 109 and this is like almost an 800-page book, so it's going to take me a while to get through, but I'm literally obsessed. Like I have been sitting here reading probably the last half an hour or so and I've just been sitting here like smiling and giggling at the pages, but I've also gotten emotional. Like there is so many different emotions in this book. It's giving like Boys of Tolman vibes. As I sort of said, it's following like this girl called Nora who loses her dad. She's also got a brother who I don't even know if he's older or younger. I haven't like been paying close attention. I think they must be like around a similar age anyway, like they're both teenagers. As I said, her family is visiting this like family that they used to visit every single year over summer, but they haven't been there for a couple of years. This family has two brothers. One of them is Nate, who I think she's had a crush on for like a really long time. We don't have like that much backstory yet. And then I think the older one is Jake, who is turning 18 at the moment. Like we're around their birthdays in this book. Jake is like very much like older brother to her. He's kind of like a best friend. They grew up very, very close, and you can still tell that he's like the same kind of guy. Like he's still very sweet to her. Whereas Nate is kind of like going off the rails a little bit, I guess. Like he's not acting how he usually acts, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm explaining this very, very badly, but the reason why it's giving me Boys of Tallman vibes is because Nate is very much giving me Joey Lynch vibes, which I am obsessed with. Saving Six and Redeeming Six were my favorite books in the Boys of Tallman series, so I'm loving that he is giving me that vibe as well, and I'm excited to see where his character development goes. I did want to show you guys because I actually did mention that I was getting this book sent to me from the author this week because it is coming out soon. I think it'll already be out by the time this video is out, or maybe it'll like almost be out. It's coming out on the 22nd of May. It is currently the 29th of April today as I'm filming this. Anyway, she sent me a PR box and I unboxed it this morning, and it is genuinely the most beautiful, well thought out, or like well put together PR box I've ever received. So I wanted to show you guys what she included in it because I just cannot believe it. Like it is just stunning. So obviously we have the book, and she is very, very thick. This is the cover. Obviously it's not going to have like the not for resale thing on it when it's actually published, but this is an early copy, so it does have that. I'm obsessed. Like I'm not usually one that really likes like real people on covers, but this is genuinely stunning. I love it, and I can see like how thick this book truly is now that I'm looking at it. Then my favorite part of this PR package, she literally put in a CD player that actually works with little earbuds and like a cord, I'm presuming, to plug it in and everything, and a CD of songs that match the characters in this book. So definitely going to be listening to this probably when I finish the book. And what makes it even more cool is that she literally had a friend make a song for her for this book. So there is a song on here that is specifically made for this book. Like how crazy is that? I am just like, wow, like for all of this from like an indie author is crazy. I just love how much thought she's put into this. As I said, she's also Australian, which I love even more. And I think I did mention I'm going to like an event for her soon too, so I'm very excited about this. A little bookmark that has tabs. I have been tabbing the heck out of this book on my Kindle, so I'm actually about to fill in the tabs now that I've got so far. There is like a little sweet treat in here. There is a little note from her. Like it is just like the most beautiful package ever, so I wanted to show you guys on here. But yeah, I am about to keep reading. I am going to keep reading it on my Kindle just because it's more comfy and it's easier. I also just made myself a chai tea, so I'm gonna sit here and drink this. It is the perfect day for it. It is like so cold today. We're like finally actually getting into winter in Australia. It's like actually getting cold now, so it's just perfect. And it's also going to rain and storm later, I think, which I actually like don't like storms at all. Kind of embarrassing, but I'm actually terrified of lightning, and I'm gonna be home alone, but hopefully it's not too bad. Like hopefully it's bearable for me. Okay guys, it is honestly quite a lot later, as you can probably tell. It's like dark and I've got all my lamps and stuff on now, but I have gotten so far into this book, like so much further than I expected that I would today, because I simply cannot put it down. I am literally obsessed with this, more than I will even be able to explain. First of all, I want to say I have literally been sitting here for hours reading today, and I have been trying to actively slow my reading pace so I take in more information, and annotating has been a great way for me to do that. So I have been heavily annotating this. The only time I got up literally in the last few hours was to 1, eat, 2, make a cup of tea, and 3, I had to like vacuum and mop. I had to do a little bit of housework, but I've just been itching to get back into this book. Honestly, this is what I'm going to be doing the rest of tonight. I'm going to be binging this. So I'm currently 40% in. This is what my tabs are looking like so far. I don't know if you'll be able to see because some of the colors are really light, but literally a crazy amount of tabbing. I can't explain to you guys how obsessed I am with this. I know I mentioned this already when I was like 15% through. It is just reminding me so much of the Boys of Tallman series. as I said, specifically Joey Lynch, which he was my favorite character in that series so far. So literally loving that so much. Think literally like The Summer I Turned Pretty with Conrad and Jeremiah. There's like a little bit of a love triangle going on in here, meets The Boys of Torment series. Like that is the best way I can describe this. It has dual point of view between Nate and Nora, and it also has like a then and now point of view as well. It has things that they went through growing up when they were seeing each other when they were a lot younger, like they were childhood best friends, and then it's got them currently. There is really just so much to this book, but I also like just feel like there's not much to it. It's kind of just like following their day-to-day lives, but I love that in a book, especially when I really connect to the characters, and I feel like that's pretty much what the Boys of Torment series was as well. So if you're trying to fill the emptiness that series left you, I highly recommend this because it's going to give you the exact same feeling. I really see myself in Nora as well. I think she's a beautiful character. I definitely see her in the fact that she is just very quiet. She kind of like really likes to keep to herself, and that is literally me to a T. I know I literally don't come across as quiet on here, but like if you were to meet me in real life, I would be so awkward and so shy. So apologies in advance if any of you ever do, because I'm just very awkward. I've always been very shy, so I do see myself in her. And I also did want to say a specific quote that might convince you guys to read this book, because this book is very quotacious. I don't even know if that's a word, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. This quote is just beautiful. So it was Nate and Nora doing like a puzzle together, and Nate asks her if she ever feels like she's missing pieces. Obviously in life, not the actual puzzle. But she said, sometimes I begin turning a piece over in my hands, but I think that's the thing about life. Just like a puzzle, we can't force pieces to fit just because we think they should. And sometimes the picture we're trying to create isn't even the one we're meant to make. Maybe the missing pieces aren't really missing at all. They're just not part of our puzzle. The way I read that quote, and I was like, automatic annotation on that. Like that is the most beautiful quote I've ever read. I just feel like that describes this book and like the vibe you're going into perfectly. So I think that's the best I can say about this right now. I'm about to sit here and read the rest of the night, so I probably won't give you guys an update till tomorrow, but I hope that I am demonstrating how much I literally adore this, because I don't even know how to put it into words, honestly. I think this is definitely going to be a 5-star read, maybe even a 6-star read. Like I don't want to like jinx it or anything, but this could be my favorite read of the year so far, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, it has actually been a couple of days since I've given you guys an update. I wanted to talk about the book because I did end up finishing it yesterday, and I didn't really want to talk about it yesterday because I just wasn't ready and I just didn't feel like picking up the camera, so I have left it to today to talk about. This book was like one of the easiest 6 stars I've ever given. Like 6 stars, infinity stars. Like 5 stars was not enough for this book, and how much I loved it, how much I loved the characters. I just feel like I was like with these characters for such a long time because it was such a long book, but I feel like because of that I just felt so connected to them the whole time. It feels like I actually knew them as like real people, and I honestly haven't stopped thinking about it since yesterday when I finished it. This is literally like, there's not that much romance in this, I would say, but when there was, it was definitely for the acts of service girlies. These two characters, Nora and Nate, they had so many of their like individual problems. They had so many like inner demons, I guess, to fight, and I just loved seeing their character development through this book, and I loved seeing their individual point of views. I am a sucker for a dual point of view book, and so that just made it better as well, because I love when you see different moments between characters and then you get to see both of their minds and what they're both thinking in those moments, and we definitely got that for like the major scenes and moments in this book. The fact this is the author's debut novel as well is just like, wow, like she's literally outdone herself so much. I cannot wait for the next book in this series. Trust me guys, like you need to all add it to your TBR. Like by the time this video comes out, it's only going to be a couple of days until this book comes out, so it's going to be perfect timing. Like 100% recommend this. You will not regret it, and then you'll come back and thank me, honestly. But yeah, I just think this was beautiful. There was so many like tender moments between our two characters as well that I loved. I don't want to give too much away, and I definitely feel like I've already shown how much I've loved this, but yeah, this was a 6-star read for me. Then I actually went on to another book for the video. I was going to read The Conditions of Will next, but I changed my mind because I just wanted like a quick and easy book that I'm not planning on like annotating, which I am planning on annotating that. So I ended up starting Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bastone. This is following a girl called Lenny, and at the start of the book we find out that her best friend of I think like her whole life, who she was living with, actually passed away. So themes of grief again in this book. I'm reading 2 books about grief, which is really heavy to read in a row. But anyway, she ends up taking this babysitting job for this girl called Ainsley, who is a 7-year-old, I think. And I don't know if she's like friends with the mum or something, but she does take this job for a couple of days. I think she looks after her for like a week. And while she's there, Ainsley's uncle is also there. His name is Miles, and he's kind of like a bit of an asshole. Like, he's not the nicest to her at the beginning, but it's actually because he just sees that Lenny is so good with Ainsley and Ainsley just loves her straight away, and he wants his niece to love him just as much. So he wants Lenny to like teach him, if that makes sense. And in return, Miles is going to help Lenny with her grief over her best friend, if that makes sense. I've got like this little arrangement going on. I'm only very early into the book. I'm up to page 62, so I don't know a whole lot going on right now, but I am enjoying this as well because I do really love Lenny, the main female character. I think she is so funny. Actually, this book is pretty funny in general. There's like a lot of like banter, there's a lot of very funny scenes, but sometimes I feel like the funniest books end up being the saddest, and this is meant to be sad, so I'm kind of scared. But I do have like pretty good expectations, like high expectations for this, I guess you can say. So I am going to continue reading this today. Hopefully I can binge the whole thing. I'm just like in a binging book mood, to be honest. And of course I will let you guys know my thoughts along the way. But please trust me on this book. Like, you need to go and buy it right now. Okay guys, I am not gonna lie, it has actually been quite a few days since I've given you an update, and I actually have not been reading as much as I have been wanting to, because as you know, I did start reading Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bastone, and this book just isn't really a book that's like making me want to pick it up and keep reading, so that's why I haven't really been reading the last few days. I have also just had a lot to do, like I've been quite busy. I haven't really had time to sit down and read, but I do feel like because I'm not really that interested in this book, it's also making me not really want to read it. Don't get me wrong, I am enjoying it. I am enjoying the storyline. I'm enjoying the characters. I feel like the romance in this book feels very real, and I just love these characters. They have so many like personal things they're going through, and they help each other with it, and I feel like that's why they feel so real, because they're not just like these perfect characters in a book. Like, they have so many flaws. I also did mention how I do love books that have kids in them, and this does have a child in it as like a pretty main character, I would say. She isn't very realistic because she's supposed to be like a 7-year-old, I believe, but she's not really like at the mature age of a 7-year-old. Like, she feels like almost like a 12 or 13-year-old. Like, the way she like speaks, the way she's like, I don't know, the way she comes across is not 7-year-old vibes most of the time, so that's a little weird. Like, I feel like that's really not done that well, but I still do really like her character. I'm trying to like cover like the sun from my face because you can just tell that it's like really bright, but I'm sitting in like the worst spot for it. But anyway, this book is also set in New York, which I really like because obviously I went to New York in April, and I feel like that's very nostalgic for me. Just the places that they're kind of visiting and everything that I went to, I'm kind of like, oh my god, like I miss it already. Like, I loved New York so much, and I do love seeing that throughout this book as well, because they do go out in New York quite a lot in this book. Like, it's not just like Lenny babysitting Ainsley the whole time. Like, there is so much more to this book because, as I said, Lenny and Miles are kind of like helping each other with things, so I feel like there's a lot of them just being personally together, if that makes sense. I'm trying not to like give much away, but I also want to explain what's going on. This definitely isn't giving me like 5-star vibes anymore. Obviously this was a 5-star prediction for me. I still do think that I'm going to rate it quite highly, but I just don't think it's going to be 5 stars. Like, I'm thinking around like the 4-star mark right now, but really depends how the end of this book goes, because there is like separate parts of this book as well, and I'm only in the second part, so I feel like it might get like a lot better towards the end and more emotional and everything like that, but we'll have to see. I haven't even said where I'm up to. I think I'm like 55% in. I'm up to page 218. I do want to make it my mission to finish this today because I have 2 more books I want to read for this video, and I'm already kind of going over when I was supposed to finish this vlog, so I need to really get on that. But yeah, that's the update for now. I'll let you guys know my thoughts probably at the end, because I doubt I'm going to have many more while I'm reading. But wow, it has been so many days since I've picked up the camera, if I'm being completely honest. It's been like 3 or 4 days. Okay, these two characters are kind of like giving me the ick. Like they're being so cringy, but at the same time, like it's cute and I love them together. So it's like hard to explain how I feel about them, but it's just like some of the things they're doing, I'm like, you're meant to be like full grown adults, like, and you're not acting like it. Okay guys, sorry for the weird angle. It is much later. As you can probably tell, it's literally dark outside, even though it's only 6 p.m. because daylight savings ended maybe like a month ago, and so it gets dark so early now and I hate it. But anyway, I have a big update for you guys. I did finish Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bastone. You would have been able to tell from the clips because I did show the new book that I was starting as well, but I wanted to talk about my final thoughts on this first. This unfortunately wasn't a correct 5-star prediction. I ended up giving this 3.5 stars, which I feel like people often hear that rating and think it's a bad rating, which it's definitely not. I think 3.5 is a really good rating and I would definitely recommend this book. The only sort of things about this book that I didn't love was just that I often found myself getting bored throughout this book, and as I said in the last update, I wasn't really like itching to pick it up. I just didn't really care for it as much as I was sort of hoping to. Even though I did really love the two main characters, I love where their story ended. I feel like it wasn't like a typical romance. It sort of ended slightly differently, and I did appreciate the way it ended. I appreciated how they helped each other throughout the books, and they both sort of were able to grow through their pain and trauma, and like, I don't know, there's just a lot of character development in this book, I would say, which is something that I love. I feel like if a book doesn't have any character development, I often don't like it, so I really loved that. I feel like Miles just like knew Lenny so well, like he could read her so well, and he was just doing so many little things for her, and she often like wasn't realizing the little things that he was doing to like show how much he loved her. And yeah, I really loved that as well. And then obviously because I finished this one, I did go straight into my next read because I feel like in a very strong reading mood today. Like this is like the first day I've had in like 3 to 4 days to actually sit and read, so I have been reading a lot. I did finally start The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings, which I have honestly been terrified to pick up for so long, like since it came out, but obviously it is a 5, maybe even 6-star prediction for me. Like I just know I'm gonna love this, and upon already starting this and being just over 100 pages in, I can safely say I think this is definitely gonna be a 5-star read. This is giving me like all the Magnolia Parks feels. Like I'm connecting to these characters so quickly. There is just so much happening. The family dynamics in this book are absolutely insane. Like there is just so many people I hate that are so horrible. They're so stuck in like the older times. They're like very religious. They are extremely homophobic. There is definitely some heavy topics in this, and they are just downright not good people, a lot of the people in this book. Our main female character's name is Georgia, and she has an older sister called Marianne. She is genuinely one of the most horrible characters I have ever read about. She is just so infuriating. So I really hope that Georgia gets justice she deserves, because she is going through so much in this book, honestly. Already I'm only like 120 pages in. I love Georgia's character so much. She's actually studying some sort of like psychology degree, and so she actually like psychoanalyzes people a lot, and she can always tell how people are feeling, what they're thinking based on like their body language, and I'm really loving that because I feel like that's so cool to read about, and I feel like I'm like learning things from it as well. There is also a bit of a romance in here sparking up, so it is between her and a boy called Sam. I won't tell you guys like who Sam is because I feel like that spoils like one of the themes of this book with one of her brothers, so I won't say that, but I'm really loving Sam's character. I'm loving the dynamics between them two, and like he can like really read her as well. I don't know, he just seems like the sweetest character. Like everything he is saying and doing for Georgia already is making me giddy. Like I found myself like smiling throughout most of this book already. But I will say I feel like there's going to be some very dark emotional themes in this book. I'm kind of terrified for it. As I said, up to page 122 I've slowly been annotating as well. I don't know if you guys will be able to see from this angle, but I have been annotating quite a lot, and I'm definitely going to read the majority of tonight. I don't think I'm going to finish this today. It is like a 450 page book. I would have to be sitting here for quite a few more hours to finish it, but I definitely can see myself binging this very quickly because I honestly don't want to put it down. Like I cannot get enough of these characters that I do like, because a lot of these characters I don't like. But yeah, that's all of my thoughts for now. I am literally obsessed. this man, he's like doing like the bare minimum, but like the way he says things is just, it's making me so giddy. I'm literally obsessed. Okay guys, honestly, I might end up finishing this book today and I'm not even mad about it. It is currently 9:40 p.m. I have literally been sitting here reading this for hours because I cannot put it down. I am up to page 330. I literally have maybe like 120 pages left. Really not much at all. Look how much I've been annotating it. Like, I'm literally obsessed with this. It is incredible. I feel like it is just so, I don't know how to explain it, but it just reminds me so much of the Magnolia Parks universe. We also get a few mentions of some characters from that series. Georgia, our main female character, she had a bit of a relationship with a guy that was friends with Julian, so he is mentioned in like one chapter, which is nice to see because I miss the characters from that series so much. But that being said, you don't have to read the Magnolia Parks series before going into this. This is definitely, I don't know if it's going to be a series, but you can definitely read it as like a standalone right now. I feel like with most of Jessa Hastings' books, she does end them with like a plot twist or like a cliffhanger, so I'm kind of scared for that. I just feel so sorry for Georgia's character. It honestly just feels like every single person in this book is against her and everything in the world is against her. And I know that sounds like, oh my god, poor Georgia, but like seriously, like the amount of things that she has gone through in the past and like is still going through in this book is insane. I just feel so sorry for her. I don't know, I just feel so emotionally attached to her, and every single thing that she goes through, I feel like it emotionally impacts me, if that makes sense. It's just really sad. The love in this book is so pure and genuine. There is like a quote that I wanted to say, completely like out of context quote. I would never spoil anything with quotes or anything like that, but this is Georgia talking about Sam, who is the love interest in this book. She said, I don't know if it's the bending over, in brackets great ass, or his laser focus or the way he handles the cue, but I am a mess. I'm not normally a totally shit player, but every time I go to shoot, I catch in my periphery something Sam does. Nothing spectacular or noteworthy either. He could take a sip of water and my heart could stroke out. He's just doing normal guy things like shifting his weight between his legs, holding the cue stick against him, tilting his head as he waits for me to shoot, and I love all of it. I want to film it and watch it back again and again, because how can someone be as beautiful as he is without even trying? Like, the way she loves him so much and he loves her so much, it is the most beautiful, just pure relationship, honestly, that I've probably ever read about. Like, it's just one of those books where you're like, okay, like these characters do love each other so much and you can just feel it within the pages. The point I'm at right now, we're getting into like probably the more heavy plot part of the book, because I would say with Jessa Hastings books, it's mainly about the characters and just their day-to-day lives. But I didn't even mention in the last update, but the whole premise of this book is that Georgia's father has passed away and she had like a really rocky relationship with her father. In fact, she does with her whole family, which I did mention, but we're only getting to the part of the book, which this is like mentioned at the back of the book, but pretty much we get to see her father's will and who he's giving each thing to. And there is like a lady on the will and no one knows who it is. So Georgia, her two brothers and Sam are all going to like investigate this. Thank God the like bitchy sister isn't going, because that would have driven me insane. But yeah, we're kind of getting like a heavier plot now because they're going to do that and they're kind of like on this little road trip together, which is so fun. So I'm loving that so much. But yeah, I am scared for where this book is going to end. I have no idea where it's going to go. Honestly, you can't guess anything from a Jessa Hastings book, but I'll update you guys tomorrow. I'm probably going to finish it today, but I'll probably need time to process this, let's be honest. Okay guys, as expected, I ended up finishing and binging the rest of this book last night because I simply could not put it down. Honestly, I did have to process a little bit by the end of this book because I just felt so empty after finishing this, because I truly loved this so much and I loved the characters in this so much. I just think this book was so perfect. There was nothing I could fault about this. Like seriously, this is one of the best books I've read in a long time. I cannot believe 2 of the books out of this video have now become like my favorites of the year, because I gave this 6 stars as well. Making a video that's like reading my 5-star predictions and then finding 2 6-star reads was not what I was expecting, but I'm not mad about it. I'm so happy. This is how my annotations ended up turning out for this book. I didn't annotate it as much as I sort of thought I would, but there's still quite a few tabs in here. There were definitely very emotional topics in this book. As I said, there's definitely a lot of trigger warnings, so definitely look those up if you need to. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I feel like I already spoke about about all my thoughts and the sort of things I wanted to speak about in this book. I don't really want to go into much more so I don't spoil anything, but I just really loved Georgia's character. I think she was incredible. I love the ending that she got from this book as well. I think it was perfect for her. She kind of reminded me of Daisy Hates. I don't know why, I just feel like they have a very similar personality, and I love Daisy Hates. I was so scared in the first Magnolia Parks book that I didn't like her, and then when I read the Daisy Hates books, I loved her. So I loved that Georgia reminded me of her, and as I said, she did have some sort of a connection to Julian Hates, so I feel like she's definitely met Daisy at some point. Literally like my two worlds colliding, like it's amazing. But yeah, the romance in this book was perfect. It was so sweet. I said that in the last update. I loved Sam so much. I'm going to be thinking about him for a long time after finishing this now, because he was literally the perfect book boyfriend. But yeah, as I said, I gave this 6 stars. It was incredible. I highly recommend. But because I finished this, that means we are finally on to the last book for this video, which is going to be The Favourites by Lane Fargo. I think I mentioned either at the start of this video or in a different video that I didn't know whether I wanted to listen to the audiobook for this one or read it, but I did end up getting the audiobook for this, so I'm going to do a bit of both. I'm gonna like listen to the audiobook while I'm cleaning the house and stuff like that, just when I have spare time, and then I will physically sit there and read the book in the rest of my time, and I feel like I will get through this very quickly because of that. I have no idea what to expect out of this. I am scared because a lot of people have said that it kind of reminds them of Daisy Jones and the Six, which is a book that I really didn't like. I didn't connect to that story. I didn't like the characters. I didn't like the way it was written, and so that comparison does kind of scare me, but I do think that it's going to be very different. Like, it's not about a band like that book is. I think it's about a figure skater. I think it's about a romance between 2 Olympic skaters from what I can tell, but I will confirm that later when I've actually started the book. And I'm presuming that there's probably going to be a lot of drama in this book, which I always feel like I eat up. Like the title of this video says, this is a 5-star prediction for me, so we'll see what I end up thinking, but I'm scared, honestly. I'm actually kind of terrified. Okay, I am literally only 20 pages into this book, but first impressions, it is reminding me of Daisy Jones and the Six, because that book is written in script form the whole way through, but this one has a little bit of script form, so it's like interviews and stuff, but it's only like a little bit of each chapter, so it's also just like telling the story normally as well, which I like, because that was the one thing that I didn't really like about Daisy Jones. I just couldn't follow along with that script the whole way through. I feel like that's why I didn't connect to it. But I feel like these 2 main characters, Heath and Katerina, they're the 2 Olympic skaters. They are gonna have so many flaws. Like, we're kind of like alluding to something that's happened at one of their big events, and I'm very excited to see what that drama is. I am about to clean up and listen to the audiobook for this, so I don't know how much I'm going to listen to, but I'll probably listen to quite a few hours of it, so I don't have many thoughts yet obviously, but that's just like my first impressions, I guess. Okay, I am about 70% into the book and I am like really enjoying it so far, but there is quite a few things that I also don't like about this book that's probably most likely going to prevent it from being a 5-star read. One of them being that Katerina, our main female character, is probably one of the most selfish characters that I've ever read, and I sometimes can look past that, but I can't really look past it with her because I feel like she just always wants more. Like, her goal in life is to be an Olympic skater, and then she makes it and she's still not happy. Nothing's ever good enough for her. No one else is ever good enough for her. It just feels like she pushes everyone away that's important to her and that's trying to help her. And she's just very frustrating to read about. Her and Heath, her like original skating partner, had been best friends growing up for such a long time, and she even ends up pushing him away for like such a stupid reason for many years. And then she wonders why he comes back into her life like angry at her after she's the one that like pushed him away. What I do love though is that I love like a sports romance. It's not even really like heavily romance based, I would say, but I love a sports romance where you can just see how passionate the characters are for their sport and these like massive goals that they have for themselves, and it's so nice to see them achieving it and seeing them happy and all the hard work that goes into it. So I really appreciate that. I also love that I'm listening to the audiobook for this. I've pretty much listened to the audiobook the entire time so far. It is probably the best audiobook I've ever listened to. As I said, it is like a full cast of narrators, and so when there's like the interview formats, it's like a bunch of different people talking, which is so cool. And then of course we have different people for all the main characters as well when it's told in like first person. It is just really, really good. I love that. It literally feels like I'm like watching a documentary because things are just described so well. I feel like the only thing that's going to put me off rating this 5 stars is just the selfish characters. I don't know if I can like put that aside and look past that because I am loving the rest of the book. It's so full of drama. There's so much going on. I really want to see what happens to these characters at the end, and like I want to binge the rest of the thing today. Like I can't put it down, but I just don't know if it's going to be a 5-star read. I literally have no idea. Like usually I can like predict it by the 70% mark, but I still have no idea what I'm going to rate this, so we'll have to see. I'll be back tomorrow with an update though because I am so tired today. I'm honestly probably going to finish this and then go straight to bed. Okay guys, it has been a couple of days and I did officially finish The Favourites by Lane Fargo, and I wanted to talk about my final thoughts before concluding this video. Obviously, I'm not gonna lie, in the first half of this book I was like, this is not gonna be a 5-star read. Like I really don't like these characters. I really don't like what's going on too much, but I'm so glad I stuck it out till the end and actually decided my rating and opinions towards the end of the book, because the last maybe like 30% of this I fell in love with it. I became obsessed with it because the characters just had so much development. They just changed so much within themselves and I really, really appreciate it. I loved how this book ended. I didn't even really tell you guys what this book was like mainly about. It was pretty much following Katarina and Heath, and it was them as children when they first started skating, and it follows them all the way up until they become Olympians. So it's like them going through their training, them going to like a skating school and everything like that, and it's just like their experiences through that. Also more of their personal life. They both grew up not very well off. They didn't really have much money or anything, so they did struggle through school and stuff to afford it, but obviously at the end they do become Olympians and we go through that whole experience as well. So it's really following their life from when they're children up till the very end pretty much. The last 150 pages or so really just solidified the fact that this was a 5-star read. I actually haven't stopped thinking about this book since I finished it. It is just one of those books where the characters stick with you and the story sticks with you and you just feel like they're real. Like it literally feels like I read about real people, and I highly recommend listening to the audiobook for this one because as I said, I did listen to the audiobook for the majority of this book and I loved it. Like the casting was amazing. The fact it had like a full cast, I could not recommend the audiobook enough. So if you need an audiobook to listen to, definitely pick up this one. I cannot believe that out of the 4 books I predicted would be 5 stars in this video, 3 of them actually were and 2 of them were 6-star reads, because I just really wasn't expecting that to actually happen, because most of the time when I predict a 5-star it doesn't happen. But so far I've had a really successful reading month in May, so hopefully that continues because I'm really loving this. That was the last book that I was planning on reading for this video. I will do a final wrap up on the screen as usual so you can see my ratings again as a little reminder. I cannot believe how successful this reading week was. Again, so happy about it. Definitely let me know if you want me to do a video like this again in the future because I had so much fun filming this, and obviously as I said I did find a few 5-star reads, so I'd definitely be down to do it again if you guys are interested. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to stay and subscribe so you don't miss future content from me, and like the video because it'll really help me out. But as usual, I will hopefully see you in my next one.